Yeah, so like.
So what is reserved, Prabhu? Is it like this, like being reserved?
So I guess like being unreserved would be like being, I guess, too wild, unrestricted, too loose with your dealings with other people, like being inconsiderate,
Overfamiliar.
Yeah, overfamiliar. Being reserved is more just like being more self-situated, not needing to basically wear masks.
Like grave, maybe.
Grave, yeah, internal, just attentive to how you interact with other people, you know.
I like how Prabhupada sometimes describes the word grave as you don't know what to expect from, like, you cannot read the person's mind, like he surprises you with like anything that he does, and that's like one of the things like you can hear in these memories. There are like series of memories on YouTube of devotees that will interact with Prabhupada, and they always would say that whenever you open Prabhupada's door, you never know what he's going to be up for, or what going to be his plan. Like you would always surprise the young, jubilant, creative devotees, you know, with this creativity.
Yeah. 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 Well, and I guess that's the thing. I guess with youth, I've noticed it's like I always wanted to be like on high charge, like high energy,
hyper,
wanting to express, wanting to interact, and want to be happy and high energy, and you know. But yeah, and then as I'm getting a little older, I'm a little more reserved. As in, I can feel like that when I feel it, but I'm okay with just being like chill, doing things more slow, taking it easy. You know.
Yeah. But I thought it's the most difficult for you.
No, this is the easiest one that I can relate to.
Okay.
All the other ones with the Lord and the
okay, you started from the other. I get
when you say reserved.
How about you, Danielle and Saraswati, George? What do you think will be the most?
Chase had something he wanted to say.
Oh, okay, Chase. Yes.
Keith, I kind of identify with what you're saying. You're saying like you feel more reserved, and I kind of understand reserved as being more self-situated. You're kind of okay yourself in any situation. I guess you're content.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What is content?
Okay. Content would mean accepting what is, I guess. Accepting what's happening. Yeah, I get what you mean. Be more self situated and yeah. It would be good to I have kind of like a vague idea of why I can't say it in such a clear way as a dictionary, but yeah, reserved.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious what kind of makes you feel when you read that in connection to how you're expressing that will be like the most easy for you to connect, because I guess that's where you find yourself already, like it's easy for you not to put yourself on some level that I have to be this hyper or energetic person.
Yeah, now spring break is coming soon, right? If you go to spring break in
it's like
Orlando or something like that, then you'll see the opposite of reserved.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. I think I don't want to know what's going on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Okay. I can tell you. Okay, I can't tell you for Saraswati. I don't know her well enough yet. But I can say for me, before having the baby, it was being attached to the chanting of the holy names, which I still struggle with. But in having her number 5, she is always certain that Krishna will bestow his mercy upon her. That one, since having Saraswati. What did you say?
It's difficult or it's easy, you find number 5?
5 is difficult for me.
For you to...
Yes, since I gave birth, because I have a little less trust, or at least I have recognized I have less trust, because I have a very strong attachment to Saraswati's well-being. Is like I'm somehow in charge of that. Or I want to be in charge of it, or I think that I am in charge of it. And to some degree, sure, I have some like spiritual attachment as her mother to take care of her. But I think my attachment for her goes beyond that, because I have fears like, what if I die and then she doesn't have me right now? And I feel like as she gets older, that fear will diminish. But for right now, I'm very concerned. Like, okay, she's 4 months old. Say I get sick from COVID-19 and like just expire, you know? And so George is always very kind to me. He's like, well, where was she before she was here? And I was like, I don't really know. He's like, yeah, but Krishna does. And he had her and he's going to take care of her, even if you and I both die, or even if she dies. So George is always very good at helping me with that. But I do have concern that he is going to give me the mercy in regards to being able to, I have attachment to doing my duty. I have strong attachment to my fruitive outcome for sure right now. With parenthood, it's very difficult. It's really changed my relationship with Krishna.
In some way, you find yourself, I guess, less surrender because you're experiencing more responsibilities. Like naturally, you want to make sure that you're fulfilling your responsibilities.
Yeah, and so some of it I know is healthy, and some of it I know crosses from like a healthy attachment into something that's more me being in control. And like I think it comes from a lack of trust that Krishna is always going to give me his mercy, that he always wants what's best for me. All of this is somehow for my personal benefit. So I'm really struggling with that right now.
Thank you for expressing that. I remember probably many mothers, though, in the movement, especially in the like in the beginning of the movement, there are so many mothers in the movement with children, and Prabhupada many times he would stress that for you serving Krishna is making sure that the baby is well fed, well dressed, well educated. It's like the deity basically. I think he even says like this: for you the deity is Krishna. For you the Krishna is the baby.
Yeah, baby worship is equal to deity worship.
Yeah. And in the Vedic culture, like why we see actually, if maybe you remember in Kartik, I don't know how much you. I think yeah, I saw you on the Kartik sessions that we had, and we would chant, right, the song Damodarastakam. So in the song, the author, I forgot whoever composed the song, but please forgive me. But he mentions that Krishna had anointment on his eye, under his eyes, like mascara. I think even it says in the song. So it's not that Krishna was like special in that sense that he had mascara, but that's actually how they would treat children in India. They would like worship them. They would anoint their eyes and decorate them. And of course, nowadays probably the mascara is not very good for children, but it's just to show that they're actually God in a sense in the family, because they're the new beginning and the future and so many beautiful things. And they're worshipable. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. It's definitely different than I anticipated it being. And it definitely has changed my relationship with Krishna in ways that I did not anticipate, for sure. But I'm grateful for it. It's a good opportunity. But yeah, definitely right now, number 5 for me.
Yeah.
If you read the teachings of Chaitananda, it talks about the one of the higher levels of Krishna consciousness being seeing yourself as a parent of Krishna. To reiterate upon what they were just talking about.
Parental relationship, yeah.
Yeah.
What is Puriya? No, Parikya. We're just reading about it somewhere. Nice. So what is the most difficult or easy for you, Chase?
Can you repeat? Can you repeat them for me, please?
He's always anxious to utilize the time for devotional service. He's always reserved and perseverant. He's always detached from all material attraction. He does not long for any material respect in return for his activities. He's always certain that Krishna will bestow his mercy upon him. He is always very eager to serve the Lord faithfully. Why did I say severe? He is very much attached to the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. He is always eager to describe the transcendental qualities of the Lord. He is very pleased to live in a place where the Lord pastimes are performed, for example, Mathura, Vrindavan, or Dwaraka.
I would have to say that being anxious about using time for devotional service is probably it describes me. I'm anxious towards it. I can't never find peace in it because I never know where to start. So it's there's endless portals to connect to Krishna.
Okay. Yeah, you're eager to
So I'm
utilize
very anxious.
overfloods your plan making. Maybe, I don't know.
Definitely. And one thing I need to work on is I only chant the holy names in the morning when I go to work, and I don't get enough sleep every night, so I generally am very drowsy when I chant the holy names. So I would like to improve my sleep patterns so I could increase my my well of attraction.
You see some connection there between the time you take rest and camping and maybe the next day even.
Very much.
Okay. How about you, George? George has any favorites?
I very much echo what Keith just shared in every respect. I relate to that. And so I agree pretty much with everything he said. I think the one that really comes up for me is attachment to material attraction. Specifically, what's happening currently in my life is we have this board exam. It's not even like to be board certified. Like, some doctors are board certified in a specific field. It's like the first step of that process. And we're looking to move to Europe. So me being board certified with an American board of medicine of any kind doesn't really matter anyway. But my mind, my subtle ego keeps like tormenting me with like, oh, now we have a month from work that we're off, we're not seeing patients. I should utilize this time for studying for this kind of, senseless board exam that doesn't mean anything for anyone. And rather, I'm trying to detach from that as much as I can, and hopefully, starting tomorrow, I can just fully give myself to devotional service through reading as much as I can, through chanting and following, all the Prabhupada principles. And I'm going to do that for this month of April. I'm going to try and give myself to that entirely and see what effect is in the end. I feel like it's such a succinct kind of Satvitovian goal of 1 month. It's not too much of a long-term stretch, so I feel like I can do a half-step approach to it. But in echoing everything that Shay said, I think that's what's really present for me. It's like anxious to utilize my time in devotional service. Not that like doing work per se is not devotional service to Krishna. It's, I guess, also an intention. But I do feel that I have some, like, me passing or failing this board doesn't matter, yet my false ego, my looking good still wants me to pass so that I haven't like failed an exam. Do you know what I mean? It's even though it's completely not important to our life or Krishna service, I'm still struggling with my attachment to looking good, my attachment to succeeding, or being attached to the results, and expectations of others. So yeah, I think attachment to material attraction in the form of subtle ego, I mean, the form of false ego, is very much strong in me also, that I struggle with.
Yeah, you somewhat in between two ways you want to elevate yourself, and one of them you find that it's maybe somewhat not really, there's not really meaning, because you were saying anyways you're gonna move, right? And
Yeah.
and then your devotional life is exciting you, and you want to connect better to Krishna, connect better to tomorrow's Lord Ramachandra's appearance day. So maybe
Yeah.
Lord Ramachandra is calling you, okay, you can do it, try it out.
Yeah, I mean, I know somewhere, I don't know where, but somewhere Prabhupada says that if we devote ourselves 100% to the service of Krishna, then everything just unfolds easily in our path. And so kind of going through this process, with initiation coming up in August 23rd, going through this kind of process to become more aware, more conscious of Krishna, and at the same time being in this place of very much higher education, it's very much a daily struggle for me to stay, like, I don't know, focused in on what they're saying and what they're doing at work. And it seems so
Present to do the examination.
Hmm?
You need to be present in both atmospheres, in the spiritual and in the material. So
Yeah, but it's like the more I read about the spiritual, like even the exam aside, everything else that they do at that institution of higher learning, it's just such a struggle to take it in light of what Prabhupada and we all like. This is so fulfilling that to read there and read all this minutia about just mundane material, and it's
Yes.
like hundreds of pages. It's just so like it's hard for me, especially because in the mornings, like today I couldn't come. Sarasvati had us up all night, but in morning program I kind of leave at 8:30 now, because my 8:30 conference work call starts, and I kind of keep you guys on while I'm on with them, and it's such a hard transition for me to just.
contrast for you is hard to experience. The contrast you're experiencing between the very contradicting.
Yeah, it's challenging to like leave what we're discussing about, and then like try like focus in on what we're discussing about at work. It just seems like laughable. It just seems so like mundane, so not intellectually stimulating, and it's very hard for me. It's interesting that I've manifested this for myself at this stage in the game, but we'll see. I'll keep these in mind. I appreciate the goals, having goals to set intention to. So yeah.
I can totally relate to that, because last time I visited Israel, I went there specifically to renew my driving license, and I couldn't. Like in Israel, the law is that after 5 years, I had my driving license when I was like 17, and when I was 19, I left Israel, so I couldn't really renew it at the proper time, and I came back after like 10 years to renew it, and I had to basically sit in a classroom for like 14 hours, like in few settings, not like all at once. And I came there, and after I sat there for like half hour or 40 minutes, and I couldn't focus on anything. It was so weird. I couldn't like even understand what is going on, and it was such a simple and practical thing. Like I need my driving license, but still it was a big stretch for me, like such a simple thing. And I mean, at the same time too, like all kind of many other things happened in the background, like my grandmother died and other things, but it was just like too much, even something. So I cannot imagine like going to school like now and going through what you're going. You were like a real warrior, battling with Maya. Yes, the real monk,
Exactly.
living monk.
I'd like to I'd like to read a part of a purport from chapter 18, verse 66 of the Bhagavad Gita, where it says, the verse is, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. And the purport by A.C. Bhadakta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, he says, anything that does not lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. One should be confident that in all circumstances, Krishna will protect him from all difficulties. There is no need of thinking how one should keep the body and soul together.
Yeah, I hear you. You want to transmit to us this, like an urgency to get a hold of Krishna. In the same time, surrender. I experience surrender as a process. So we all are in different phases of that process, and yeah, everyone in his own time he can surrender. And I don't think too it's like something which is like external, you know what I mean? Like someone might be like Arjuna, he is like fighting, and maybe in the sense he's like a dentist, he's working with big swords. Dentists, they work with little swords. And he's fully Krishna conscious, right? For him, his process was more internal.
Yes.
Yeah, it's something that I personally like to like keep in mind. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So wow, we discussed this short paragraph for like 40 minutes. That's epic. Nice. Who would like to read the next paragraph and see what happens?
I got it. Oh, okay. So, utilization of time. An unalloyed devotee who has developed ecstatic love for Krishna is always engaging his words and reciting prayers to the Lord. Within the mind, he is always thinking of Krishna, and with his body, he is either offering obeisances by bowing down before the deity or engaging in some other service. During these ecstatic activities, he sometimes sheds tears. In this way, his whole life is engaged in the service of the Lord, with not a moment wasted on other arrangements. Perseverance.
Engagements, no? You said arrangements?
Did I say arrangements? Oh. Engagements. Perseverance. When a person is undisturbed, even in the presence of various causes of disturbance, he is called reserved and perseverant. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Prabhupada answers our question.
Yeah.
What is reserved and perseverant?
Yeah. So, yeah, when a person is undisturbed, even in the presence of various causes and disturbance, he is called reserved and perseverant.
Because I guess it's easy to be reserved when there are no difficulties.
Yeah.
But if there are difficulties and you disturb, this kind of really shows you where I'm at.
Yeah. An example of this perseverance and reservation is found in the behavior of King Parikshit, as described in the first canto, 19th chapter, 13th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. The king says there to all the sages present before him at the time of his death, "My dear Brahmanas, you should always accept me as your surrendered servant. I have come to the bank of the Ganges just to devote my heart and soul to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So please bless me, that Mother Ganges may always be pleased with me. Let the curse of the Brahmana's son fall upon me. I do not mind. I only request that at the last moment of my life, all of you will kindly chant the holy name of Vishnu, so that I may realize his transcendental qualities."
Danielle, would you like to read? If you have the book with you there.
This example of Maharaja Parikshit's behavior, his remaining patient even at the last point of his life, his undisturbed condition of mind, is an example of reservation. This is one of the characteristics of a devotee who has developed ecstatic love for Krishna. Should I continue?
If you like.
Detachment The senses are always desiring sense enjoyment. But when a devotee develops transcendental love for Krishna, his senses are no longer attracted by material desires. This state of mind is called detachment. There is a nice example of this detachment in connection with the character of King Bharat. In the 5th canto, 14th chapter, verse 43 of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, Emperor Bharat was so attracted by the beauty of the lotus feet of Krishna that even in his youthful life, he gave up all kinds of attachments to family, children, friends, kingdoms, etc., as though they were untouchable stools. Hare Krishna.
Chase, would you like to read with us? If you have the Nectar of Devotion handy. Or George, I don't know. But
I guess George can. I don't have a copy of the book.
We are at Emperor Bharat, right?
Yep.
Emperor Bharat provides a typical example of detachment. He had everything enjoyable in the material world, but he left it. This means that detachment does not mean artificially keeping oneself aloof and apart from the allurements of attachment. Even in the presence of such allurements, if one can remain unattracted by material attachments, he is called detached. In the beginning, of course, a neophyte devotee must try to keep himself apart from all kinds of alluring attachments. But the real position of a mature devotee is that even in the presence of all allurements, he is not at all attracted. This is the actual criterion of detachment.
Yeah, it reminds me of, maybe Prabhupada going to speak about it later. No, I don't think so. But it reminds me of how Bhishmadev in the Rajasuya performance, there's a chapter in the Krishna book, maybe read it next time on Friday. It's about how Krishna is elected to be the president of the sacrifice that Maharaj Yudhishthira performs. And he is elected because he would be considered the most exalted personality. And Bhishmadev, the grandfather of the Pandavas, he gives one of these arguments to why Krishna should be elected, because he is the most, what is that? He was, like Prabhupada, he was describing perseverance, that Krishna, he is always a dhira, he's always undisturbed, and not just when it's easy to be undisturbed, but even when they are in minds of great calamities. And he was giving his personal example. Bhishmadev was saying that Bhishmadev, he's like he's a long life celibate, long life brahmachari, a monk. Although he's a warrior, but he's like a monk warrior. And the story behind it is that his father wanted to marry, and after already Bhishmadev was born, but the girl he wanted to marry, her father didn't want to give his daughter to the king because he was afraid that she's not gonna, her sons will not occupy the post, because he already has an older son, Bhishmadev. So Bhishmadev, just to pacify his father and to please his father, he said, I'm not gonna marry. And the father of the daughter of the king wanted to marry the daughter of that particular person. He was arguing with Bhishmadev that it's okay, now you say you're not gonna marry, but later on when I'm gonna have grandchildren, you're gonna fight with them and you're gonna occupy the post. They're gonna be a battlefield, just like the Kurukshetra battle of the Bhagavad Gita. So Bhishmadev said, you know what? I'm not gonna marry. I'm gonna remain celibate. I'm not gonna have any children, no marriage, nothing. And he gave his word. He gave a vow, and in exchange to that vow that he took his father, he gave him a benediction that he will never die unless he wants to. Very powerful benediction. And Bhishmadev, he is the oldest on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but he was fighting all the time there until there is like this beautiful picture of Bhishmadev on the bed of arrows. And before he was passing away, he wanted to call Krishna. So Krishna comes, and the last thing he would see would be Krishna. And he, for example, how he is a lifelong celibate, but if he would be in minds of young girls and dancing with them in the dead of night, like Krishna did in the Rasa Leela, in his dancing pastime, he would fall down. He would not be able to refrain from enjoying with the girls. But Krishna, they never had any sexual relationships there in this dance. And Krishna, he was keeping intact with his celibacy. So Krishna, he was celibate, but he was celibate in minds of calamities. And Bhishmadev, he sort of like transcendently puts himself down and he explains that, what's the use of my celibacy? As soon as I'm next to women, I cannot control my senses. So it's just something that reminds me about this aspect of what it really takes to be undisturbed. It's not that we have to go and test ourselves, but I think I can myself at least go inside and see, am I really free from sex, from greed, from lust, from all those different things, and apply the medicine that I need to. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
This example of Maharaj Parikshit, when a devotee, pridelessness, when a devotee, in spite of possessing all qualities of pure realization, is not proud of his position, that is called pridelessness. In the Padma Purana, it is stated that King Bhagirath was the emperor above all the other kings. Yet, he developed static love for Krishna, that he became a mendicant and went out begging even to the homes of his political enemies and untouchables. He was so humble that he respectfully bowed down before them. There are many similar instances in the history of India. Even very recently, about 200 years ago or less, one big landlord known as Lalubho, a Calcutta landholder, became a Vaishnav and lived in Vrindavan. He was also begging from door to door, even at the homes of his political enemies. Begging involves being ready to be insulted by persons at whose home one has come. That is natural, but one has to tolerate such insults for the sake of Krishna. The devotee of Krishna can accept any position in the service of Krishna. Yeah, it's not that we have to all become beggars now, but I think that's like the last line really stands out, that we accept whatever position it is for the service, and then we can learn and advance from there. I know for myself, like being an actively like a monk, a brahmachari in the temple in Montreal, like going outside and like every love feast, I would never really purchase the ingredients for the feast when I would invite people, like 20 people that would come every Sunday, and there would be more than enough to feed everyone. And I never really even purchased anything because I was practicing all the time is begging. I would go and I would ask the shopkeepers, we have a feast, 20 people are coming, can you give this, can you give that? And it's very, very humbling, especially because 90% of them never gonna give you anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, that's why monk life too is it's cultivating humility. It's cultivating humility, and that's part of this aspect that you go. Sometimes you go wearing like a weird thing on your face and a weird clothing, and you don't mind. You're not like acting out of self-conscious that people not gonna like me because I'm looking like this or I smell like that, or no, you go and you just want to give them Krishna, and whatever else is happening is for your purification of the self-conscious.
Yeah, that's really amazing.
Yeah, I kind of want to hold this next part of the reading for Friday evening because it's a really special part for me. That's actually, I posted this part on Facebook like 2 weeks ago, and we discussed it with George in like the comment section and everything. And it's like, I think it's my favorite part of the Nectar of Devotion, the part Great Hope. And if you would agree to be patient with me, we're gonna read it. Would you like to agree?
Yes.
Horrible.
Yeah, I have it saved actually. Like I think I said on the comment section, I have it saved on my desktop.
No, it's right there. Yeah.
As soon as I open the computer, I read the first line, the first paragraph. The strong conviction that one will certainly receive. Great hope is a strong conviction that one will certainly receive the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ashyabanta means to continue to think, because I'm trying my best to follow the routine principle of devotional service. I'm sure that I'll go back home, back to God. So we can discuss it next time, Friday, after we have a crazy party tomorrow where Lord Ramachandra and Hanuman, Sita and Lakshman will be ecstatic. And yeah, I wish to see you all there. Tomorrow morning program going to be with Hira Govinda. He's going to read, I'm not sure, either a class or a verse, or maybe we're just going to read the whole two chapters from the Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 11th chapter, I think, about the pastimes of Shri Ramchandra. And in the evening, either we continue the reading or we just go through different quotes and do some more chanting, and it's going to be streamed on YouTube and Zoom, so you decide where you want to be. I think Chase has both. He has access. He has like he's part of the membership program on YouTube. That's how we know each other, and he has these cool icons there every time he posts a comment. So he sometimes like 100, 200 people join, and you cannot see the comments, but his comments are standing there, so we always in direct touch.
Alejandra, I have a question.
Yes, please, Danny.
Hare Krishna. So on certain holidays, I guess it's a holiday, certain celebration days, we have things that we do, like special things that we do. So for Lord Ramachandra's appearance day, are there things that are recommended, like reading the Ramayana or like special foods, colors, or stuff like that?
Glorifying the Lord, and He's in that particular incarnation. So we're gonna. Prabhupada didn't translate Ramayana directly, but there are many instances, that he mentions pastimes from the Ramayana. So we're gonna read from there. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada did translate the Srimad Bhagavatam, specifically sanctions about the sections about Lord Ramachandra. So yeah, it's like just connecting to that particular incarnation. That's kind of the meaning of that event in the calendar and like that. Like we're gonna cook something like a bit more than usual. I'm planning to make saffron sweet rice for Lord Ramachandra, ladus, and then some I don't know, maybe Keith will have some ideas too. We're gonna make something like that. Yeah, like a festival.
Hey Keith, have you ever cooked panar?
If I ever cooked, huh?
Panar?
Paneer?
Yeah, paneer.
Keith, he knows what it is. I guess, yeah.
I've cooked some that was already made, but I've never made it from scratch. I think it's fairly easy. It takes a little bit of time. That's all.
Yeah, I just made it this evening. That's what I was doing at the beginning of our conversation. Both times I've been able to join, I've been cooking, so I do apologize for not being able to partake in the chanting as soon as the service starts.
Paneer is also a worthy thing to put your time into.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
The temple that I was staying at in Montreal, they had a connection, so they were able to get lots of milk, and so they made paneer every week, like. Yeah.
That was the first time I've ever had it that way. You know, obviously I've eaten cottage cheese, but I was like, I got to try this out.
Yeah.
It was decent. Yeah, I made paneer steak. So I made a teriyaki glaze and then cooked it in after I had made the fresh paneer, or the fresh fresh cheese.
Nice. Sounds pretty good.
Sounds like you
It
like
was
cooking.
pretty good. I love cooking. I love cooking.
Nice. Okay, Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you so much for joining.
Krishna.
Sri Bhakti Rasamitra Sindhu ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Premanande.
Jai.
Horrible.
Haribo.